Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into the world of WordPress today.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. I can already tell just looking at some of these articles.
Yeah. Oh, we got.
It is, well, it's the usual mix of technical stuff, a little bit of drama.
Oh, there's always drama.
Always some drama when it comes to WordPress, right? But it's interesting stuff because so many people use WordPress.
Right. Like, even if you don't realize it, chances are you've visited a website
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that's powered by WordPress.
Every day, probably.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day.
It's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal. And all of this is coming from WPIX, which, if you don't know, it's the place to go for WordPress news.
They've always got the inside scoop.
They do. So let's jump right in, yeah. And
Let's do it.
security, always a hot topic.
Right, because who wants to get hacked? Not me.
Definitely not me. So Security, they're like the security experts.
Yeah, they do a lot of great work.
Put out this report in September and basically went on a vulnerability hunt.
Oh, like digital Ghostbusters.
Exactly. And they found a bunch, which is, the scary part.
Oh.
But the good news is that they were patched up.
Oh, thank goodness.
So it's like a good reminder that this stuff is ongoing. You can't just set it and forget it.
It's a constant battle.
It is. And speaking of battles, get this.
Oh, boy.
WP Engine, they're like a big hosting company in the WordPress world, got temporarily banned from WordPress.org.
Wait, seriously? Banned?
Banned! It's wild.
What happened?
Well, they're back in good graces now.
Oh, okay, good.
But still, it makes you wonder what went down, right?
Definitely. I mean, WordPress.org is like the heart of the whole WordPress community.
Right, it's like the mothership.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to get banned from there, something major must happen.
Something big, yeah. And, this kind of ties into a bigger conversation about,
Ooh, tell me more.
open source software versus, the businesses that are built around it. Because WordPress itself...
Open source, right?
Right, it's free. You can do whatever you want with it, basically.
Yeah.
But then you have these companies like WP Engine, awesome company.
Yeah.
But they're making money by offering these services.
Subscribing themes and all that.
Exactly.
So I can see how there could be some tension there.
Right, and that's where things get really interesting. And this whole WP Engine thing, it really highlights, the power dynamics at play, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you've got Matt Mullenweg.
Right, the co-founder of WordPress.
Yeah, and he's a huge advocate for open source.
Oh, yeah, he's all about that community-driven approach.
Exactly. So when a company...
Especially a big one like WP Engine.
Yeah. Does something that, maybe rubs the community the wrong way.
There's going to be friction.
Yeah, things get a little tense.
It's like that saying, don't mess with the mothership.
But let's shift gears a bit from the drama to something a little more,
A bit more practical.
Yeah, exactly. We found these really cool articles on WPIX about this tool called Cleverlist.
Cleverlist, I've heard of that.
And it got us thinking about email marketing.
Oh, interesting. Because...
Well, because Cleverlist is all about email marketing for WordPress, right? And it made me realize, even with all the social media stuff,
all the fancy algorithms and whatnot,
email is still so important.
It's true. I feel like people are always trying to declare email dead.
Right.
But it just won't die. It's like the cockroach of the internet, in a good way.
That's a good way to put it. Because, when you think about it...
It's still the most direct way to reach someone.
Yeah, it's in your inbox.
No algorithms deciding if you're going to see it or not.
No fighting for space in the feed.
Exactly. So how does this Cleverlist thing work?
So from what I gathered, it basically helps you build those email lists.
Ah, the elusive email list.
Right, which is everyone says that's where the money is.
The money's in the list.
But actually building it, that's the hard part.
It's not easy.
And then on top of that, you got to make sure people actually open your emails.
Oh, yeah. What's the point if they just go straight to the spam folder?
Exactly. So that's where Cleverlist comes in, I guess. I haven't actually used it myself.
Well, what do the articles say?
Okay, so there are these two articles, one from September 27th and the other from the 29th.
Okay.
And they both talk about how important email is.
Even now?
Especially now, because it's so crowded online.
Oh, I bet.
Everyone's vying for attention.
Everyone wants your eyeballs.
So you got to stand out.
So how do you do that with email?
Well, that's the thing. It's not just about sending out a bunch of promotions.
It's got to be more than that.
Yeah, it's about building a relationship with your audience.
I like that. Building a relationship.
Giving them something valuable.
Providing value. That's key.
Yes. And then there's this other article from September 30th that talks about how Cleverlist integrates with Sendy.
Sendy? Isn't that for...
It's a self-hosted email platform.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which sounds kind of like bit techie,
Oh, but
but basically it means you have more control over your data,
okay, I think
and you're not paying like an arm and a leg for features you don't need.
especially important if you're a smaller business just starting out.
Exactly.
So Sendy handles the actual sending of the emails, and Cleverlist makes it easy to manage everything within WordPress.
That's what I gathered, yeah.
Slick. I love when things just work together seamlessly.
Right. Makes life so much easier.
It really does.
So these dashboards, tell me more. What kind of things are we talking about here? Like actual dashboards with charts and graphs?
Well, kind of, but more like imagine a health tracker. But instead of your steps, it's tracking the whole contributor community for WordPress.
Whoa, that's kind of wild. Like, how do they even measure that?
It's pretty cool. They look at things like how many people are actually contributing to like the code itself,
Okay.
how active those support forums are, the ones where people go when they need help,
Right, right.
and even like the overall vibe of the discussions.
Oh, interesting. So they can see if, like, one area is kind of lagging behind.
Exactly. Like if there aren't enough folks working on making WordPress accessible.
Which is hugely important, by the way.
Absolutely crucial these days. Or like if they need more people translating stuff into different languages.
So it's all about keeping things balanced and making sure, nothing falls through the cracks?
Yeah. And keeping things transparent.
Right. Which, hey, kind of brings us back to that whole WP engine thing, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like with these dashboards, it's out in the open how healthy the community is.
Everyone can see what needs work.
And that makes it way harder for things to go sideways, like with WP Engine.
Because everyone's keeping an eye on the big picture.
Exactly. And that's how you get this whole open source thing to really work.
You need that trust and transparency.
100%.
Wow, okay. Dashboards. Who knew they were so,
Riveting.
yeah, definitely not something I expected to be so interesting.
It's the unexpected stuff that gets here.
Right. So to wrap things up, everyone, we've been on quite a journey today. Started with those security scares, remember those?
Oh, yeah. Can't forget about those.
Dived headfirst into some juicy industry drama.
Always a good time.
Explored the power of email lists, which, by the way, never underestimate the power of email.
Never.
Figured out how to at least try and appease those Google gods with our SEO.
Yeah, Google can be a fickle friend.
And ended things off by checking the pulse of the entire WordPress community.
It's looking pretty healthy, I'd say.
That's a relief. But seriously, huge thanks to WPIX for the amazing articles. If you haven't checked them out, do it.
Seriously, so much good stuff on there.
And thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. It's been real, and we'll catch you next time for more behind-the-scenes adventures in the world of tech.